Hi, my name is Gabriella Colello. I'm an almost PhD candidate at the University of California, Irvine, where I study international relations and political theory. This video introduces my article, Saprobic Politics, Decomposing Colonial Cosmologies and International Relations. In this piece, I offer a conceptual and methodological framework rooted in fungal processes, namely decay and decomposition, as a way of engaging global politics from a space of humility, relationality, and transformation. In order to do this, this piece starts with a discussion about how international relations has long operated within frameworks that assume a coherent, singular world, one universal reality against which all other ways of being and knowing are measured. But this assumption erases the plurality of ways in which beings live, relate, and make sense of their worlds. It flattens difference, erases cosmologies, renders existences less valid, and forecloses possibilities of existence otherwise, or beyond the human. This article engages instead with pluriversality, the idea that the world is made up of many coexisting worlds, entangled but not reducible to one another. Pluriversality challenges the idea that there is one correct way to know, govern, or exist, and instead invites us to consider how distinct realities interact, clash, overlap, or persist. This paper is premised on the assumption of a pluriverse, then, not a universe, both within the discipline of international relations and beyond it. To explore these dynamics, I actually turned to fungi, not just as biological organisms, but also as conceptual companions of sort. Fungi thrive in conditions of disturbance. They break down what is no longer viable, they redistribute nutrients, and they quietly create conditions for something new to emerge. Their work is slow, hidden, and it is deeply networked. In this article, I suggest that decomposition and decay offer more than just metaphor for political change. They actually may serve as method. Fungal thinking helps us engage the complexity of global life in ways that account for what is unintelligible, irreducible, or still in the process of becoming. It invites us to attend to the subtle signs of change, the tensions, the ruptures, and reconfigurations that are often missed by frameworks focused on order and control. Rather than proposing a totalizing theory, the fungal framework offers a sensibility, one that attunes us to the processes that unmake and remake worlds, that metabolize dominant systems into something otherwise, and that takes seriously the ethical and epistemological challenges of researching in contexts where dominant categories no longer hold, or perhaps never did. This perspective is particularly valuable in our field of international relations, where scholars often seek clarity, predictability, and cohesion. But decay and decomposition encourage us to ask different questions, not just what is falling apart, but also what is growing in the cracks. What relational forms persist beneath collapse, and how might we learn to notice and narrate them without mastering them? This approach offers new tools for understanding how global systems adapt, fray, or quietly transform over time. It shifts our focus from the visible institutions and stable actors to the less legible processes that shape political life. At a moment when international institutions are under strain, from climate disruption and forced displacement to fractured alliances and contested sovereignties, this framework offers a way to study not just crisis, but the emergent forms of order and relation that arise and are nourished in its wake. Decomposition in this context is not just about destruction, it's about transformation through breakdown. This article also puts forth a set of research ethics, calling on scholars to stay attuned to complexity, to move with care, and to resist the pressure to render all knowledge transparent, legible, or actionable. It opens space for more reflexive and relational approaches to global politics, grounded not in certainty, but in humility and coexistence. Ultimately, Saprobic Politics proposes that we take decay and decomposition seriously, not as an endpoint, but as a generative condition of possibility. Fungal thinking reminds us that decay can be a form of resistance, that ruins are fertile, and that even in collapse, there is life. In our political moment defined by crisis and contradiction, decomposition offers a different kind of horizon, one that makes space for new forms of relation to take hold, that recognizes relations that have already been, and that nourishes those which continue to be. Thank you for watching. I hope you'll enjoy the full piece.